All right, so welcome everybody. So I'm just getting the meeting set up here just a moment. But welcome back to another week of Study GRC. So I'm going to start off here in just a moment with some of the different updates that I was talking about previously. Let's see. All right, let's go ahead and get started here. All right, to start off, we're going to go ahead and go through the slide deck. So we went ahead and started doing some of the agenda. So this is very loose. If we do have a presenter, then that's going to be about the first 25 to 30 minutes. And then we're going to move into like a weekly topic review and then a group activity and open discussions at the end. We were having 3-4 hour meetings, so we just wanted to kind of put things together and get that lined out there. Let's go ahead and get these other people added in here. Let's see. All right. And so this is very loose, but just to give you an idea of what to expect. And today we're actually going to try to figure out a topic for next week's video and some of the other different topics coming up. The guidelines, notice, and recommendations here. So just as a reminder, this is a business casual meeting. The meeting is recorded and live streamed. Don't share anything you don't want to be public. And then also feel comfortable to turn on your mic or video, ask questions, share your personal LinkedIn, share useful resources that are working for you, discuss topics with the group, even if you're not too familiar with it. Definitely feel comfortable with asking questions. You could say, hey, I don't know that much about that, but could you explain that? Especially if we, use different abbreviations or otherwise, just let us know. And then if you do say something or share something that you don't want to be public, just let me know. You can reach out to me on Discord, LinkedIn, or also email contact@studygrc.org and we'll get that fixed up. You can also access our website, studygrc.org, to access our Discord, YouTube, LinkedIn, and so forth. And the meeting link is there as well. So meeting.studygrc.org to join the Teams meeting here. I am not sharing the stream on Teams. I'm going to go through this whole presentation and so forth, and then I'll connect it all together. I'm going to share it here in a second. All right, and then, so one of the big things that I wanted to go ahead and get right off the bat is some of the different updates that are going on right now. Let me go ahead and get this shared over. Yeah, because I definitely want you guys to see this slide deck as well. All right. I'm not sure how I made it full screen last time, but that's all right. Let me go ahead and share it this way. So you guys should be able to see me on the screen on Teams now, right? Here, let me redo this. All right, there we go. So that should be working. All right, perfect. And so it is going to look a little bit weird for those of you on Teams, but I'm just going to go ahead and go through the slide here. So the important updates here, hopefully, I'm not going to look at chat right now, but we'll catch up on that after this. So I want to go over our mission and purpose, pain points, why, introducing our board, and what's next. So the goal of Study GRC and the reason why we started all of this was to foster community. It's very difficult to break into the industry, whether that be the cybersecurity, information security, GRC side of it. It's not easy coming from a perspective of no level of knowledge or otherwise. And I never found any other community that really, shared resources and put everything together. There's a lot of information out there, but it's not all collected together. And uh, GRC Mafia is really spread across many different communities and discords and so forth. And we just want to go through and share, that the resources, if you have need resume review and so forth, and just help each other out where we can. A lot of us even have like transitional experience where, customer service, IT help desk, consulting, and so and on. The key points is network, learn, and contribute. So networking, we can all work together to network. Learning, sharing resources, what works for us. If I want to learn Microsoft or the CIPP, for an example, Dwight is working on that now. And then also he already passed the CIPM. There's also a couple other community members that have already gotten the CIPP. So I could bounce questions and ideas off of them as well. And just leveraging community. Contribute. So again, that's just where we try to go through and just engage in the conversation for different topics to advance our level of knowledge, which also helps with the networking part, and find out, what's out there. All right. Now, our main pain points and why we're doing this, these different updates, is time and money. So, as I'm sure everybody realizes, everything costs time and everything costs money, it seems. And so, especially as a nonprofit, you know, we all have family, work, everything else going on too. So, we definitely want to provide as much as possible. We have a lot of big ideas, but it all comes down to time and money for all of it. And so that's why I'm really happy to introduce additional board members. So we've already gone through the process and everything else. Everything's officialized. And now we have 4 additional board members. Previously, it was just me. And this really assists with delegation, voting on what we should do, just more direction for the organization. And it really opens up a lot more doors and a lot more experience that we're going to be able to provide to the community. And so, of course, you have me. So I went ahead and took the president's spot, of course, spokesperson, just trying to run the operations delegation and so forth. So Brittany, you'll probably know her as B-Dubs, as taking the CFO position. And that's going to really help with a lot of our policies and procedures and take a lot of that section of tasks off of, one person. Rania is going to be the director of kindness and generosity. I like to think of that as like a public relations type of role. And then we also have Evan for the CISO. He's probably overqualified, quite frankly, but really awesome. And then also Rachel for CTO, which is going to help us to make sure that we are leveraging our technology stack and doing what we can with what we have, or what other avenues we may need to use. Especially since we moved over to Microsoft, that's one thing I've struggled with, is how we could best leverage Microsoft and their whole business Microsoft 365 to benefit and get our projects and so forth completed. If you're interested, we could definitely drop their LinkedIns into our Discord, of course. And then what does this really mean for everything? I've already stated a little bit of it. So after the first year, we want to start doing the quarterly stated Study GRC, just like Simply Cyber does. We're going to start pushing the existing projects more so. We have, I think, 9 projects in total. We're going to start with the easier ones and then just move up in difficulty. More transparency. So we're looking at options like Open Collective or otherwise, as far as like having transparency reports on like what's been completed, which is also going to coincide with the quarterly state of Study GRC, which each one of the directors will also provide like a update at that quarterly state of GRC as well. And we will be now pursuing the 501c3 for the tax exemption and federal level for the nonprofit, which will again open up more doors and more ability for us to provide more to the community, and just overall more teamwork. Like I said, the delegation. We have such big ideas and so much going on there's no way one person can do such. And so just delegating a lot of it out. And yeah, thank you for listening to my presentation here. I'm going to go ahead and pull up Teams over here now. Let's see. Just so that way you guys can see everything as well. And then today is just pretty much open discussion. So I'm going to go back through the chat real quick. But we don't have anything lined out. It's just going to be open discussions on whatever we want to talk about, if anybody has any questions or otherwise. All right, I think I have this all set up here. All right, and then I'm just reviewing the chat now. Let me go ahead and pop my camera on over here. Yeah, and welcome to the party, Larry. So Larry, Natala, Francis, I see B-dubs in chat, Rania in chat, NC Worker. Yeah, welcome everybody. All right. Yeah, and so if anybody has any questions, just go ahead and let me know. Otherwise, I mean, there's a couple different topics I can bring up as well. All right. Well, so one of the other topics that I wanted to mention too is I wanted to see what your guys' thoughts were on just using the Restream. The main issue with using Restream alone is that that only provides us 9 additional speaking spots. I believe we won't have an issue with that. But what that would mean is that the majority would be watching on YouTube directly, and then we would be dropping the link, just like what PBO does with his stream. So that may be something that we test out maybe next week or something along those lines. We can always go through and give that a try. It's very easy to spin up a Teams meeting or otherwise if it doesn't end up working out during the stream itself. Let me make sure. Let's see. Yeah, and also Regine did state congratulations to the additional board members. If you guys do have any thoughts or opinions on as far as watching from YouTube directly, just let me know. Like I said, it'd be just like PBOs where we still want to drop the link and allow people to come up and talk in an open platform. GRC Mafia, yes, Space Tacos. And also, if you guys did not know, PBO has been, let me double check that this portion's working. So I'm going to go ahead and try both of these out. But also, we now have a short code for PBO. So PBO has been going through the 853 controls and family groups and breaking it down. I think he's maybe a quarter of the way through. So I would definitely check that out. I believe that's every Tuesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern. And then we're also meeting up on Tuesday nights, 6 p.m. Eastern right now, for privacy. So discussing and kind of going over a little bit about the CIPP which is very heavy on US state law for privacy. Another cool feature that we implemented is the live chat in Discord. So that appears to be working as well. Are you still have your meeting or your exam scheduled for the 31st, Dwight? Nice. Yeah, we'll need to put more time into it. Go ahead and get this organized here. NIST story time. Oh, have you not been able to attend recently, Space Tacos? So I can. We have a couple different fancier things with Restream now. So like Space Tacos mentioned missing NIST story time. You could definitely catch up on it. So unfortunately, like it's pretty late my time, and so I typically miss a good majority of it. Let's see. Oh yeah, and then Dave. Dave hopped in on chat too. I talked with him recently from Colorado. Welcome to the party. All right, and then I'm going to go ahead and pull up a couple of the different things I've looked at recently. I Were you working on that, Dwight? The CISSP? I think you have that in your roadmap, right? Oh, you only had it in the roadmap. So I have also seen in Simply Cyber. So DJ BSEC scheduled his exam, I think, for sometime in November for the CISSP. And there was somebody else in the Simply Cyber that were talking about it in the general chat the other day. They were discussing on like doing a live stream for like studying it on DJ BSEC's channel. A longer term goal. Yeah, I could definitely see the CISSP working as a long term goal. Let me see if I can reorganize this a little bit. There we go. That should look a little bit better there. All right. Let me see how I'm going to be able to change this here. So for those of you on Teams, you should be able to see this screen, and then I just have to move this around on Teams here. Probably going to pop me back up here. So this Wilkie compliance is an interesting resource that I came across. They have all kinds of different information in there for different developments on the legal side. There's a lot of different breakdowns. I'm going to try to go ahead and pull this up on stream. Let's see. So I'm going to drop this in chat. This is one resource that I came across somewhat recently. So they have all kinds of different resources for different types of legal concepts that you can go through. It breaks all of it down, especially with studying like something like the CIPP for privacy and U.S. privacy law. This is actually pretty useful. They have a whole section here for privacy and cybersecurity. breaking down like the different acts and all kinds of different things. They even have like non-US compliance enforcement. Oh, I think this is a really good resource. I think that it was designed for like a mobile browser. But another really cool thing is the breaking legal news. So this is actually like they put stuff out pretty often. I don't think a large majority of this is going to necessarily apply to the cybersecurity realm, but depending on your industry, like some of this stuff is kind of interesting, and the breakdowns that they provide. Like SEC reaches settlement with IT consultant to resolve insider trading charges, and then they do an entire breakdown here of what that actually means. So in May of 2022, and this is just now settled, Telepenny drug application and reduce its workforce by approximately 75%. Stock price fell by 64%. I think that's definitely something to check out. Learn more on-demand accredited CLEs, scenario-based training. I don't know. I would assume that this is definitely a mix of free and paid. Oh, wow. They even have presentation materials in here. Oh, yeah. Let me drop this in Teams as well. But yeah, there's a lot of information. And something that I think we could probably do is look at like some of the in-depth analysis. I think that would be some good information to go through one day. All right. Let's see. Let me double check chat here. So like Space Tacos is talking with Dave about Colorado. There seems so like Texas and Colorado seem to be some pretty big ones. Oh, yeah, and Space Tacos joined on Teams too. So this is so strange using Teams. Let me go ahead and swap this back over. At least I'm getting the hang of this somewhat. So definitely looking for the community's input on it. I think a large majority of people don't necessarily come up on microphone or camera. And so I definitely want to provide those options to everybody, which is one of the reasons why I was mentioning about like just using Restream in the future. So then people would just use YouTube, and then if they want to come up, we do it like PBO does it, and just drop a link to come up on stage. The whole meeting portion does add complexity to the streaming. And so that's one of the recent resources I got there. Yeah, and there's some other fancy stuff I could do in here too. So uh, let's see. Hopefully this isn't too loud. Oh, okay. Music in the background now. So you guys should be able to hear the music, I believe. And then I think I'll just have to reshare. Okay, there we go. Now I got this up. That's not exactly what I wanted there, though. There we go. All right, awesome. Yeah, the music is one of the things I didn't try. And then, Alan, did you have a question or anything else? I thought I saw you come off the mic there. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, and like you're a volunteer and everything else too. So yeah, thank you. And also, it was dropped in chat right here. So, or we could also use Discord as an option. So we originally started in Discord. The issue is that at least the voice channels are very unreliable. That's why we moved away from Discord in the first place, is just because there's constantly issues with voice channel. I think having the live stream chat in there is definitely a benefit, though. The difficult part that I'm trying to figure out is giving the ability for everybody to not only watch the stream, but also participate in it. And the only restriction with Restream is just the 9 additional slots. All right, let's see. Did anybody else have any other topics or otherwise that they want to bring up? I got a couple other things here too. I think I might have mentioned this one prior. Yeah, I noticed, especially with like Black Hills and Anti-Siphon, they almost exclusively use the Discord live chat. Not only does that provide everybody an option to go back and review what was discussed, if they were unable to attend or otherwise, but it also makes it easier, if you don't want to just hop up on stream or otherwise, everything's in one spot. Definitely a benefit. And I'm going to try out a couple other things here. So like, there's a couple different commands that we should be able to do. Let me double check the chat again. So like another thing that if you're doing anything on the IT, I mean, this is really good for IT too. So IT Law Wiki is another great resource. Let's see. And this is the other part, is where utilizing Teams or Google Meet or anything like that, I also have to copy over both the links into both chats. Yeah, and Space Tacos, honestly, I don't think it's you on Discord. I think it's just Discord, because people have issues all the time with it. So I'm going to go ahead and see if I can pull this up too. When I hide this on stream, then you guys won't be able to hear anybody in Teams, but that's okay. So let me go ahead and replace this out. I wanted to go a little bit over the IT Wiki here. So the IT Law Wiki, this is an amazing resource. Over 34,000 articles and growing. This is an amazing resource for numerous different reasons. Of course, there should be a search. Yeah, the search function is up here in the top right. You can go through and, just browse the whole thing. So like computer law, cyber law. There's a lot of good information here. This is one of the ones that I have in my bookmarks. Let's see. And so, yeah, especially looking at the chat and so forth, I think next week what we'll go ahead and try out is we'll just have everybody on YouTube, and then we'll be dropping the link for Restream for everybody throughout. And we'll give that a try. Worst case scenario, we'll go ahead and spin up a meeting room. Yeah, Space Talkers, there is a lot of different articles in here. And primarily, so I came across this when I was looking at some of the different state law related items. So there's all kinds of different stuff here. Let's see. So new pages, categories. It looks like they have the categories separated out by the year. Let's see. New pages. So some of the latest ones was July 10th. So American Civil Rights Union, Mr. Taz. I'm not even sure what that is. Let's see, cyber law, internet law. So internet law generally refers to those legal doctrines that have been impacted by the growth of the internet. This area law is a subset of information technology law. Some of the different references. So then information technology law. I mean, this is just good stuff to know, even if you're just working in IT, and really goes on the legal side of everything. So the term information technology law, IT, refers to the ever-growing field of law that focuses on those legal issues that arise from the emerging information society. So this includes computer software and databases, information access and controls, privacy and security, internet law, and electronic commerce. And this is where they break it down too. So then, like, if you're curious about, what they mean by computer software, they have the definition for that. There's all kinds of different stuff on here. I think, oh yeah, random page. So like this would even be useful, like just to do once a day, just click on random page right here. And it just took me to the National Archives and Records Administration needs to implement key program elements and controls. So there's a document that they had shared. Yeah, so that's one of the difficulties. I forgot to go ahead and share this on Teams. I was sharing it through the live stream itself. So I was just going through some of the different information on the Phantom Wiki for the IT Law Wiki. I try to keep all my bookmarks organized, Space Tacos, but I do have a lot of them. So I actually have them all sorted out in folders, but yeah. Which book did you get for the 853, Dwight? And yes, Space Tacos, definitely add that into the GRC Treasure Trove. And matter of fact, so on our resource page, you can't see this on stream, but I'll go ahead and drop this in chat as well. We have all kinds of different links and communities on our resource page, including the GRC Treasure Trove Discord. So that is Space Taco's private Discord where she's just gone through and collected all of this different information she's come across in the GRC realm. There's also stuff for mental health and job readiness, all kinds of different interesting stuff. It's not really active as far as chat goes. I would definitely treat it more as like a Wikipedia than anything, but it has a lot of information. And so that's the Discord link to go ahead and join that one. Especially with how big the 853 is. It would definitely be a benefit to see which book you picked out. And so now that I'm sharing on... Yeah, go ahead.
and it makes me feel like I got a textbook for PBO's class.
Let's see. There we go. Yeah, I would have to look back. Did you drop the link to it? Because I don't remember off the bat.
No,
So
but
like the 800,
I'll find it and drop it
I think
again.
I recall. Yeah, I think I recall you mentioning something about a book for it, and I think we were like telling you to take a look at like the 853B. I'll actually go ahead and pull that up too. And PBO has an awesome video on it. Yeah, and like Space Tacos mentioned, use that Discord as a library. Find what you need and then go forth and GRC. So the 853B, PBO did a really great video on. Let me go ahead and find his video real quick. I had previously looked at it briefly, but not really in depth. I didn't realize how much information was really in it. And so this is PBO's. Yeah, I'll go ahead and pull that book up here in a second, Dwight. And so that's the video for PBO for the 853B. And then I'm going to pull it up here as well. So it really breaks down all of the different controls because it has like 1,186 controls in the 853 in total. And so a lot of people struggle to understand, like, how do you implement that? What is it actually referring to? And I'm just going to like show an example here. I think it's the B, right? Might have been the A that I was getting it confused with. Okay, so yeah, it's 853A that I was referring to. He has a video for that too, of course. Let me go ahead and drop those links here. So these last links are for PBO's 853A and also the NIST doc for the 53A. And then I'm going to go ahead, so you guys on Teams should be able to see this. And then I'm going to go ahead and swap the screen again. So this is the 853A. What's so special about it? I definitely recommend to check out PBO's video for it. But it breaks everything down. So like right here we have PL. So like MP is definitely my strong suit, preferably. But for an example, like MA05, so maintenance personnel, it breaks everything down here. So assessment objectives. So what are the objectives of this control? And then what are the different methods? So this is like what you would actually go through and customize. So MA05, examine, interview, and test. So maintenance policy, procedures addressing maintenance personnel, provider contracts, service level agreements, list of authorized personnel, and the list goes on. And it breaks down each and every single control in the 853. Now, this document is 733 pages in length. Probably about 600 of that is the actual controls. But what this is really good for is if you are working with the 853 and you are curious about a particular control, this is the place to go to break it down and understand exactly what the control's actually trying to reference. Let me pull up the Trello board too for comparison. I'll have to do like a thing for the Trello board as far as like a shortcuts. Let me go ahead and pick out a control here. So like AU1 for an example. Let me go ahead and find AU1 here. We can do AU10, that's fine. So like AU10 right here on the 853 A. Oh, SA9? Okay, we can take a look at SA9. Let me go ahead. So like Dwight had mentioned that SA9 control is one of the things that came up recently. I don't even see it on here. Let's see. NIST definitely likes their documents. Regarding TPRM, third-party risk management. So I'm just pulling it up on the Trello board, and then I'm going to show an example of both of them here. Man, SA alone is probably at least 30 pages. I think PBO should go through every one of these. All right, so SA9. So external system services, risk assessments, and organizational approvals. So this is then broken up. So assessment objective, personnel or rules that approve the acquisition or outsourcing of dedicated information system services is/are defined. So you have to define the rules, the personnel or rules that approve the acquisition. So who has that ability to even go through and do that? An organization assessment of a risk is conducted prior to the acquisition or outsourcing. And then the list goes on here too. Let's see. So it's not too bad for the first category. Approve the acquisition, potential assessment method, objectives. Let me see if I can make this a little bit bigger too. Double check chat. Yeah, bonus skill. So Space Tacos also mentioned. Bonus skill if you get into GRC, speed reading. That's something that really surprises me. Like with PBO, he's talked about being capable of like going through entire SSP of like 700 pages in the matter of a few hours or so. Yeah, I honestly, I think it would be actually pretty interesting to get his take on each and every single one of them. But yeah, definitely takes a lot of time. Yeah, and especially Space Tacos mentioned being team replay on PBO's NIST videos. PBO has an entire collection, and there's over 700 videos. I would say the video average is over 2 hours each. He has an entire Security Plus section, an entire compliance playlist. Now he's going through the family groups for 53. He's considered like a 53 SME, so SME for subject matter expert. He definitely knows what he's doing. And I mean, so much information out there, thousands of hours worth of content. But so like this SA9, you could see how it breaks this down. So it kind of tells you a little bit about it. I think I skipped a little bit forward. And then it also gives you some assessment methods and objects. So this gives you a really good idea of like how you're going to actually get to this controller, what the requirements are a little bit more. And then let me go ahead and transition this over to the other tab here. So I'm also going to go ahead and drop this in chat. So this is that's exactly how I look at that actually. So Dwight mentioned that the 53A definitely feels like an auditor's guide. I think it is definitely a reference guide for auditors. Because I mean, even PBO still has to look up controls. Like it's just so much information. And so I'm going to drop this in chat as well. So this is our Trello board for the 853, which lists out all of the controls for revision 5. And then I'm going to transition the screen sharing over to that. So like we were just looking at the SA9. And so this is the actual text that comes out of the 53. So there's a little bit of additional information too, because also you have the baseline, which marks out the low, moderate, or high baselines. But this is the information you're looking at for the 853. So you have your discussions, you have your control text, require that providers of external systems comply with organizational security and privacy requirements. Let me go ahead and skip to the next one. And so like this is great information. Basically what I did is I looked at the 853 documents and then I just kind of compiled most of it together. However, this is not nearly as to the point as the 853A. And that's what makes the 853A so useful, is you just look up what controls you're working with. And then just to showcase, I went through and made the Trello boards with all the different controls here, so that way you can actually go through and search for certain keywords or otherwise. Welcome to the party, PBO. We were just talking about you too. Oh no, you're good. We were talking a little bit about the 53, and of course your name comes up quite a bit. Also, we have a shortcut now for your channel. So now I just do exclamation point PBO and it drops your channel finally. So I can take that off of my hotkeys. It would not surprise me in the least bit if you did. Yeah, and so the Trello board here, oh, and PBO was just talking about having over 100 hours in his compliance playlist. There was over 55 hours, I don't know, maybe 6 months ago or towards the beginning of the year. I had calculated it all up, and just in his compliance playlist alone was over 55 hours. But these Trello boards just make it easier, and you could definitely make your own on here too. All of these are free. You can make these boards using a free account on Trello. On our website, on the resources page, there's links out to the 171, CIS, CSF. So like this is the CSF 2.0. It just puts it in a different visual format, and it's easier to search and filter. And then also Michael, I don't remember his last name offhand, but he's been working on this PCI board as well that I put on the website recently. Let's see. But I think that's a great one there. I don't know, let's take a look at this book. And yes, Rania, PBO is definitely a NIST god for the 53, especially. Move that back over. I mean, you've been doing the 53 for many, many years, but you know. Oh, hey, welcome to the party, Luke. So Luke, did you see the recent updates for CMMC? So it's like 370 pages or something. Summit 7 has some really great debriefings for it that they put out just in the last couple of weeks, because it got published officially on the 15th. And I was talking to another person about it as well, and they actually said that like it has way too many loopholes, which is really surprising for how long it's been. Yeah, I wanted to keep up with that. So at one time, like towards the beginning of the year, I did all that research on CMMC, but there's been a lot of changes now. So they released a lot of it in December, which I was kind of fluent with. And then now this new document that's 370 pages has everything in it for the most part. Oh, the CUI Discord. Let me drop the link to that too. Yeah, if anything to do with like the federal. Yeah. Yeah. Well, and then also one of the last streams we were talking about it too, and they do a lot more than. So originally, when I first joined, they were just focused on CMMC in particular, but now like they have 171, they have all kinds of different audit and compliance stuff in there now too. Like their server has grown pretty massively. So Luke, if you wanted to, you're welcome to go over to the Teams. So I'll go ahead and drop it in chat. You do not have to, but if you want to talk on mic or otherwise, you would. Starting next week, we're going to go ahead and trial it out to see if we could just go with Restream, and we'll just drop the link like PBO does it. Worst case scenario, next week, we'll just spin up a Teams meeting for everyone to flow into. And anybody else is welcome to join into the Teams end as well. I'm actually going to move this around. I have to try to figure this part out here because the camera wasn't functioning on both. Oh, there we go. I mean, you're the expert with it, PBO. I have played around with it a little bit, but it has been a struggle to learn Restream, but it is powerful. There's a lot of different features with it. Yeah, I guess it kind of depends. Like I was originally looking at utilizing OBS, except for the fact that like it doesn't really make sense. The only thing that it would have been useful for is like they do have an option to like share your screen as another camera, which is interesting. Oh, all right. Yeah. Here, I gotta modify something here. And then I'll check chat again. I mean, yeah, I'm pretty satisfied with the restreaming portion. My connection might jump a little bit for a second here.
Price is not bad. Like Chris said, I very rarely get more than 9 people up want to come up. So Chris got more than 9 people up now, don't he?
Well, and so that's why I was saying, like, I definitely want everybody to feel comfortable to come up on stage, but it would make things way easier if we just dropped a link like PBO does, because I think that's a really good method.
Yeah, just drop. Then, after 3 or 4 people just drop off. Once you get 8 people, then and most people kind of know, so they would just drop off. Every now and then you get somebody just trying to promote their channel, they don't want to drop. So I have to push them out. But no, so yeah. And I just learned from watching other people drop the link.
Yeah, like from Before the Billions, for an example.
Yeah, no, I like my young man coming up. The weird thing though is, a lot of people said I intimidate them. That's why they don't want to come up, which I thought was weird, but a friendly guy.
That's another thing, by the way, Dwight, too. So Dwight mentions in chat there, so get some rotating co-hosts. That is actually another thing that's on the plan. So that's another benefit with getting these other people on board, is we can get more people involved with it. Not only, if they want to do different streams, but then also for this primary meeting on Thursday nights. So one of the other things that I also wanted to mention, too, is, like, did anybody have any particular topics they want to go through for next week? So I'm going to pull up this, the YouTube channel here. One of the best ways to stay up to date with, like, what's coming up is going to be on our YouTube channel.
You sharing your screen?
Yeah, I'm going to pull it up. Let's see.
I thought maybe you thought you were sharing, but...
Right. So on our YouTube channel here, you'll see that we have upcoming live streams. This is the best method. I'm going to go ahead and swap this too, so that you guys on YouTube can see. So on our YouTube channel, so right now we are streaming on X, LinkedIn, and YouTube, and we're most likely going to be adding Facebook on as well. Yeah, just trying to get the information out there and so forth. But one of the best methods is even on LinkedIn. So X doesn't allow us to actually schedule it, but on LinkedIn you'll see this as well, where I try to go through and make sure everything is published out. So I'll do 4 or 5 of them at a time, or whenever we verify a presenter. And so we actually have several interesting ones coming up. Next week I wanted to come up with a topic. If anybody had ideas, it is going to be Halloween. So if you can't attend, don't worry. Like, those of us who don't really have any life or otherwise, will probably still be here. But no obligation whatsoever. But that's actually something I didn't even think about. I probably should get candy. All right, let me double check. Audio's back on YouTube. Okay. So Rania had mentioned in YouTube, people were talking technical issues with removing the Teams window from Restream. Yeah, so I had to reload Restream a second ago, but that's one of the reasons why we're going to just try out just Restream next week. So I will update the link. So when you go to meeting.studygrc.org, it's going to take you to the most recent live stream for next week, and we'll give that a trial and error kind of thing. But yeah, it is quite problematic to try to swap between screens, because like right now I'm sharing YouTube on Restream, so that way you guys watching on the different platforms can see this, but you guys cannot hear the people in Teams in the background here. But what I was going to mention here is that I just try to book these out. So like on the 11th, we're going to have on the 7th, we're going to have a special stream with CISO Assistant. So that's going to be at 11 a.m. before our meeting on November 7th. So 11 a.m. Central. You can also go on here to our homepage on YouTube and just click notify me. And so they're going to do a live demo. They're also going to discuss like the pros and cons of their application, why they did it, the history and so forth. Though what's really interesting with CISO Assistant is that they have a free and open source version, and they have a paid version with more features. I think it's just really, really interesting and valuable to the community that they even provide a free version. There's not many things out there like that. Yeah, especially in the GRC space, like it's all about that money. Like, I mean, especially for small business, we've been trialing out CISO Assistant. You could spin it up on Docker. We have a video for that. I can finally say that. I'll go ahead and drop a link to that in a moment on how to set up Docker, to set up CISO Assistant on your local machine. All kinds of resources. They have a great Discord community for it as well. And especially for small business. Like if you're a small business and you can't afford, $50,000 a year for GRC tooling, like it's a lot better than Excel. So, and then we don't have anything else. So then the two that we have to figure out is Halloween and November 7th meeting. And then we also have Chris coming up. So Chris, I'm really excited about. So a little sneak peek is he will also, during that meeting, he will be releasing an entire document. It's a complete guide. It's like a ISO 27001 complete starter guide, complete with resources, communities, information, like everything from ground zero to become more fluent, more familiar with the 27001. And it's focused on freely accessible and affordable resources. I've reviewed the document already. It's still in development, but it's very, very awesome. And he's going to do a whole presentation of how you can start getting into the ISO side. And then after that, we'll also have Carlin. So Carlin Clayton, let me pull this up. So she works as a career coach. She owns a business, coaching and consulting. And she's going to be talking about roadmap development. That's one of the really exciting things that I'm looking for. Yeah, and I'm very excited for Chris coming up with the ISO. So many people ask about the ISO, and there's not enough resources. It's not like all collective in one space, and he's gone through and spent the time to do that for everybody. And yes, Luke, you are unverifiable. But so Carlin Clayton is one I'm very excited about as well. So she's going to talk about roadmap development, which is very important in the IT and GRC space, a little bit on corporate communication and business presence as well. I think that's like one of my weak spots is the business side of things. Like I understand the technical side way more than I do the business side, and getting a little bit more understanding for that is good. And the roadmap development, I think, is crucial for anybody, not only in your professional life, but even studying. You want to have, goals set out. B-Dubs just recently did a thing too. So let me pull this up. So you guys on here can see it. Let me see. So I'm going to pull this up too. So B-Dubs recently started a blog, and the last one here is Get Smart with Goals. So SMART is a framework to crush your goals with a hacker mindset. I'm going to drop this in chat as well. Yes, Space Tacos. I'm going to put that out there right now. So Space Taco said, so for Halloween, cybersecurity costumes and mandatory on camera, right? I will be dressing up. I will be in costume. I'll warn you now. Oh, come on, PVO. So PVO is saying that he's not doing it. But we'll see. We'll see. Let me go ahead. What I'm showing right now is B-Dubs. And so B-Dubs, Brittany, she started her own blog. Yeah, on her own website. Let's see. And then I'm going to go, oh.
Yeah.
That would be a really interesting demonstration.
So I originally started the Study GRC website on Ghost, and I think it's an amazing platform for especially a personal website or a blog, news, things like that. It's great. Did anybody want to go through any introductions? Did you want to introduce yourself, Luke? So Luke is family.
Sure. Yeah, what do you want to know? My background.
Typical information security, practitioner response. Yeah, if you just wanted to just introduce yourself. So, Luke, and then you work in the space. What do you do? What's your background?
So, my background is blue team. I got a SOC job to 2016, and had no experience, but I hounded the SOC manager and shadowed them. Like once a month, I'd schedule like a two-hour shadow session to go and just sit with them and take notes and figure out as much as I could. And eventually, he said, "Come apply, and we'll get you in." And so it goes to the who you know part. So networking. But since there, I've just been gradually, building my skill set in blue team. Currently, I'm my technical name, or I guess my title is Senior Proactive Threat Hunter. And so, however, by doing that, like the first 6 months, I found that we have very large gaps in logging and visibility. So I've been security engineering, security operations, the SOC, all things SecOps since then. And so, but that's my background. I kind of have been, I don't know what's the word, isolating myself for the past while. As far as like networking, and then just, I don't know, my wife, I'm sure everybody's heard the story by now, but as I was flying out to Wild West Hacking Fest, which was, I never would have thought I'd done that, but as I was doing that, she said, "Go make a friend." And so that's how I actually got to meet everybody that I know that's really in the space now. I had very few people that I actually interacted with that were in security that I wanted to talk with. Now, I worked with some people that were just real jerks. And but everybody, that's, yeah. It's a little bit about me, I guess. I'm married, 5 kids, work from home. What was that, Chris?
Yeah, I think you made a lot more than just a couple friends. But yeah, Luke's a great guy. If you want to drop your LinkedIn or otherwise, so we can all add you as well. Definitely worth the ad. The whole networking aspect is amazing.
5 kids, between 6 and 17.
I'm gonna pray for you. Go ahead, Chris. That's a lot of kids.
Thanks.
A lot of kids.
Right, yeah. I was raised with 4 siblings, so yeah. I have the other perspective there.
Thank you. My wife's incredible, and we do have great kids. And part of this last year, it's been kind of a big change. You can hear probably one yelling in the background. Kind of a change in my attitude towards things, towards life, towards people. Really a change in heart, really. And if I would have gone to the conference last year, it wouldn't have been completely different. So yeah, it's just been, this last year has been an incredible year.
Yeah,
I posted it there.
Perfect. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and share that too. Let's see.
And I'm curious what you guys see when you see my profile, because I don't know what, but like the year viewers also viewed. There's a lot of other weird profiles there that.
Yeah, so that first link was for the Teams one. Like I said, I'm still getting used to it. But I dropped his LinkedIn in chat following that. So definitely go through and add him.
Oh, did I put it in the wrong place?
No, you put it in the right place. I copied it the wrong way.
Oh.
I'm still getting used to it. And then B-Dubs or Alan or anybody else want to introduce themselves? One of the other projects that we're going to be working on over the next several weeks is also going to be doing a series for Meet the Community. So I've reached out to numerous people already because I think it would be really useful for us to put out videos and just short 3-minute interviews for community members and the regulars out there. What you guys do, who you guys are, and just what you guys are trying to achieve. And we'll do a playlist on YouTube for that in the coming weeks. So that's probably going to be 6 to 8 weeks or so for that to be complete.
Yeah, Chris,
yeah, go PBO.
What he said is super common. Most people have gaps in logging, so that's super common. I just want to throw that out there. That's for our GRC people. You get the requirements being at NIST, IRS, Pub, C. They give you the logging requirements. Most logging engineers don't know what the hell they should be logging, so you help them in that way.
Yeah, I think that's a really important addition. That's also with your diverse background, with development and numerous frameworks and so forth come in.
Yeah, logging, especially with the cloud, they want you to log at all levels: VPC, EC2, OS, app logging. So getting all that logging heading in the right direction in something, LCAS, Splunk, or whatever.
And don't get me wrong, I love logs. Like that's where I live, is in logs. And if I could have all of them, I would, because that's me.
Yeah, the cool thing is now the cloud kind of makes it cheaper, so you can get all the logs. Originally, it was like, man, we can't afford to log all this stuff. So now everybody's doing the log analytics or AWS. Now they got Glacier and all those other stuff, and you can get a terabyte for a penny. So now you can probably get all the logs. So,
yeah.
Yeah, I think that's also interesting to throw out as well, that a lot of people have gaps with the logging.
Oh, yeah, that's super common.
Well, and also, like Luke also mentioned the fact that he felt kind of isolated previously and started doing a lot more networking. Was that Wild West, or did you start doing that a little bit before then?
Literally, so a little bit of both, but actually getting out and meeting people in person was Wild West Hacking Fest. That's where I really kind of just like, you know what, I'm just gonna say hi to whoever I'm standing next to. If we're standing still and we're next to each other, they're gonna know who I am. And it was, so that's a part of it. I mean, I've kind of been was curating and connecting with people through LinkedIn, about 2.5 years ago, and the whole purpose of that was to get a new job. So it was kind of what's the word? Superficial type of networking. But this one, it's like I remember there were times, there were times when I'd be walking from the hotel to the conference place, the Grand, and just being so grateful for the true connections that I've made with people.
I'm completely on board with you. It was an amazing experience.
Yeah.
I put out a couple different messages and Discords for it, like the Wild West Discord as well. We met so many great people. It was really changing to not only the people that I've been talking to for over a year on Discord, but then to meet all of the other people who just shared the same objectives. That was one of the biggest things with Wild West, is that we're all just trying to make a difference. And, it's the same objective, just we're doing it in our own ways. And to have that community is very vital. I'm dropping these in chat too. So this topic comes up a lot, and it's very highly recommended. Wade Wells did a lovely keynote closing out Wild West, and in that presentation he discusses about how the different social aspects and the mental health of the industry, and I'm really waiting for it to come out publicly, but He discussed in depth about how in-person meetups are by far the best options, especially working from home and so forth. Like, it's great to have Discords, it's great to chat with people online, but that could actually have a more negative effect if you have no in-person connections. Like, even doing video chats with people can actually be negative because it isolates you further. So, like, my main way of communication is through Discord, for an example. And the way that Wade was explaining it is that, oh, okay, you have your whole community, your network inside of Discord, you're chatting all day long. But then whenever you're not on Discord, then you feel extremely isolated or otherwise. So it can have a negative effect having it that method, which is why it's so important to have in person as well. So definitely look up like ISSA, ISC2, ISACA, B-Sides. There's got to be other ones in your area as well. So.
Yeah. There's the B-Sides, DFW, which actually B-Dubs is. She's like, get over there and do that. So I just listened to her.
Yeah.
Better do it.
Yep, better.
Yeah, and then also Medusa XX asked about dropping LinkedIn links. Yes, definitely want you guys to drop your links and so forth. Drop your personal LinkedIn, but you most likely have to do it from Discord. So we just implemented that live chat feature inside of our Discord. Let me go ahead and drop that too. So if you want to join our Discord, that's the link to join. And then you could just drop it in there and it goes across all channels. And then we could add each other. And then we also just got Evan popping in as well. So that's our new CISO. And Brenda mentioned probably when I'm a little further than level 0. I believe you're mentioning, so I had dropped it in chat there that we're always looking for more people to present. And all levels are welcome. So whether you're just starting out or you have been in the industry for years, you could still present. Chances are is you have some type of background that applies to some extent, or you could even share your struggles like, oh, this is, my way to get the Sec Plus, or, soft skills, or just throwing yourself out there and getting more comfortable. There's a lot of different ways that you could put yourself out there, even if you're at ground zero. And chances are you might feel like you're at ground zero, but you're really not. So if you are interested in putting something together, Brenda, definitely reach out. We could definitely collaborate on something. And anybody else, if you know somebody or if you'd like to present, just let us know.
Yeah, too, if you need some help or some backup, I can definitely help. There's not too many subjects in cybersecurity that I've put my toe in. So if you worried or think, you might bomb or something, we could co-host or something.
Yeah, and PBO does his streams every Tuesday as well. And he's doing presentations every week.
Yeah, I've taught for 10 years. But yeah, if you needed some assistance, or two, Chris, maybe we need to do a new presentation where you just have 2 people present for 15 minutes or something. Maybe make it shorter for them. I don't know. Throwing that out.
I think that's a really good thing to throw out there, because one of the key things is to just get people more comfortable. Yeah. And we're definitely willing. This is definitely a safe space to do it.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And
no bombing, or if something happens, you be bombed. We'll help.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we could help with the presentations, prep work, recording, the whole 9 yards.
You need a co-host. So, I like when Dwight. I'll co-host if you need it.
Yeah, and I dropped PBO's channel in there again too. Sure. Let's see. So Space Tacos mentions one of the very best things about GRC is that the transferable skills from other industries is amazing. So many other jobs have skills that are useful in GRC. I bet you are much further along.
So true.
Yeah, one of the biggest ones I would say is probably soft skills, but also there's different forms of risk management, audits, presentations, customer service. There's so many different things. Teamwork, collaborations, all kinds of different projects. Like, it's pretty unlikely, I think. Like, my whole background is with labor jobs, and that customer service level is beneficial. Yeah, it sounds like a plan, Brenda. Did anybody else want to introduce? Let's see. I'm going to go ahead and copy over these other LinkedIns as well. So other people in the Teams meeting right now is dropping their LinkedIns. So there's Alan Jones. So he's actually a volunteer right now. And then here is Ray Tierney. Welcome to the party, pal, by the way. I recognize the name. Here is Regine. Regine is a really good one, too. So Regine is currently working in risk management. Here's a couple other ones. So here's Larry's. And then also AB Showtime. So there's, 2, 4, 6 more that were dropped in there. Just checking the messages there. And then maybe next week we could do something with the Get Smart with SMART goals or something along those lines. We will be discussing like the roadmap portion next month with Carl and Clayton, though. Oh yeah, welcome, Chef. So Chef RG is comes from Cyber Gangsters Cybersecurity Discord. They do a lot of stuff with PCI, all kinds of PCI exercises and so forth and more in their Discord. Yeah, I'm looking forward to see what else B-dubs posts here. But we could do like the SMART goals. Maybe we should. We could also pick. We went over the 837 a few weeks back, I believe. There was a YouTube comment regarding covering the 830, which goes over how to do a risk assessment from NIST. So maybe we should do that one next week. When we did the 837. I just took out, I think it was about 16 pages for the majority of it, and we just kind of reviewed that on stream. We could probably do the exact same thing for the 830. Welcome to the party, pal, FedEx.
Do the 30?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. There was a really good YouTube comment asking to cover the 830. I know PBO's gone over it before, too. Let's check to see how long that video was.
You know, my stuff at least 2 hours.
Your 830 video is 2 hours and 30 minutes and 3 minutes.
I think that look at this first one, and it's 10 years old. I think 30 is like 10 years old.
Let me actually. Yeah, you're probably not wrong. I don't remember offhand, but a lot of the 30.
It's still relevant, but it's. I think it's like 30.
It's 12. It's it's just over 12 years old now. So the 830 was released September of 2012.
That was my only beef when I did it. I'm like, dude, this is 12 years old.
The only thing that, but like, I don't really have an issue with that, just because the concepts and everything still apply, which is why it hasn't been updated, is because nothing's really changed for how you conduct a risk assessment.
Well, yeah, but for me though, I think they at least should go over it and said nothing changed and everything's relevant. So at least I know you went over it, right? So that's like I said, small issue on the PBO's issues he has with some of the NIST documentation. That's just say we went over it and it's cool. That's my only issue. Shout out to WGU. I'm pulling this up here. Yeah, GRC is the next class for Medusa XX at WGU. A lot of people from WGU. Awesome. Yep. Shout out to WGU. But yeah, so that's my only issue with the 30. 37, I think, was a little newer. Just in real world, I just don't do a lot of that. We just so far behind of just trying to get the logging and the findings and the poems down. We very rarely get to rest.
Yeah, which is kind of concerning, but yeah.
No, I just think it is what it is. I think.
Yeah, you're at the point in your career where you're just like riding the wave. So I'm going to go ahead and drop this in chat, and I will update this, but we'll go ahead and go over the 830. You can also take a look at PBO's video on it. It is 2 hours long. However, typically I would say that like the first 45 minutes, 45 to an hour are typically like the gist of it. And then he opens it up for like open platform.
Open mic.
Yeah, open mic night.
Any questions? So yeah, I usually get a couple, which I love. My man's always in there. Larry, I always support. You come up with great questions, and Caesar has great questions. So I usually have about 4 or 5 guys with great questions. And I usually takes up another an hour or so.
Yeah. Well, and so like your last one, I had asked a question. I forget the exact details, but it was like the difference between an advisory board and like a change management advisory board or something like
a CCB,
just that little, just a little bit of difference between the naming. Like, there's still that difference.
Yeah, it's good once we get down in the document. They actually broke it down in the document. I said, oh, here it is right here. So they broke it down in the document. Yeah. So crazy thing is, a guy sent me an email, and I didn't see it for a couple of weeks, and that's what he was asking me about was configuration management in a large state agency. So he said it was right on time. So there's very few things from GRC, especially in this, that I haven't done a video on.
Yeah, I can pull it up again, but so right now PBO is sitting at 882 videos, and I would say that it's easily an average of 2 hours a piece. So he does have some shorter video uploads, but but the lives are almost all 2 hours or more. Like there's some in here that are like 3 pushing 4.
Yeah, long story short, for people who don't know me, I taught at a university at night for 10 years. So usually I teach a 3-hour class. So I usually talk for an hour and a half and let people do labs for an hour and a half. So for me, doing slides and talking, I could do that all day. So yeah, I'm trying to get that 100 hours in there. By the end of the year, I think once I do all 20 of the 53 family, if I do 2 hours on each one of those, hell, that's 40. So
so I don't know if you were in here at the time, but you popped in towards the end of that, but we were talking about the 853A, which you did a video on. Something that was actually discussed in chat was PBO going through and like doing each control in the 853A and explaining what they're actually talking about for each one of the controls. You could probably do like, I don't know, you could probably make it a YouTube short series, 1186 controls of 853.
Well, I'm kind of slowly drilling it. I'm doing a control family, then I'm doing like the top 5 controls. But some families have 20 controls, so I didn't want to do each control. I thought that might be a little monotonous. So I'm doing the security family like IC, and I'm taking probably the top 5 controls. Then 2 is if people are in the chat, they usually ask certain questions. I might end up going individual controls. Long story short, I've been invited to do a course, so I've been debating what that's gonna look like. So yeah.
Well, and something that I was just thinking about as well is getting the 53A content put into the Trello board for the 53 that I made, because it has the information way more concise in nicely formatted tables. So it would be a situation of like screenshotting each category and then attaching that to the related control in the Trello board, because that's what I was trying to do, is get it all in one spot.
I know if she's gonna try to drop it out in text and import it out of a PDF.
That's a lot. Honestly,
I know.
It's probably easier to just do screenshots.
I said it, and I'm squirming.
Yeah.
I'm not disagreeing with that.
Yeah, I mean, I spent like, I don't know, 7 hours playing with Excel just to get an import for the 53 to avoid copy and paste.
We talked about that. Which I don't think it's a bad thing. I've just never seen it at that detail, Chris. I've never seen it at that detail.
I think it was Dwight who had mentioned that SA-9 was something that recently came up at work, actually. And so using something like the 53A really helped with those particular situations.
Okay. No, I think if you need to get down that level, but for every control, that's true.
Kind of like secondhand to you. So if new to the space, I think it's way easier, especially when you could definitely the way that I recommend it is message PBO, and then if he doesn't respond quick enough, then you look at the 53A or his YouTube channel.
I tell people too, the quickest way to get my reaction, I tell people, the guy actually did that is I always look at the comments on my videos. So people comment on my videos and say, go look at your email. I was like, oh. So I always go to, because in your back office you can see any new comment on your video. So I always look at my comments on my videos. I gotta do a better job of checking my emails.
Yeah, and I'm going to copy this link here, and so this link goes to the Trello board. So on our resources page, we have the CIS version 8, which I still need to update to 8.1. There's like 6 controls that changed. They took a couple out and then they modified like 4 of them. The NIST CSF 2.0, the 53 revision 5, 800-171 CMMC. The 171 CMMC board, the only thing missing is level 3. So I didn't spend the time to mark everything out for level 3 CMMC for the 171, just because that's I still plan on doing that, but like not many people are going to be working with level 3. And then we also have that PCI board now, thanks to Michael.
Yeah, I need to get better in PCI. It gets a lot of love. I was never really happy with the PCI. And the guy that you interviewed, he kind of helped me with my understanding of that. I'm sorry, that was the CMC guy. The other guy on the PCI was pretty good. Ain't that the GRC Gangsters?
For which one?
The PCI, the guy that was doing the PCI. Wasn't that the GRC Gangsters?
Correct. Yep, so that's on our, I'm pretty sure that's on our resource page here too. No, I actually still need to add them. So I will have to get a link for that, or if somebody wants to drop a link to Cybersecurity Gangsters. So it's Cyber Gangsters Cybersecurity is what they call it. And they just have the Discord really. They haven't been publishing on YouTube lately, but they have all kinds of exercises and discussions around PCI in particular. Really great resource for PCI.
I like it.
I think I got everybody added there. All right. But yeah, so I'll update that for next week, and then we need to also come up with a discussion for a topic. Okay, so another thing that was brought up as well as a recommendation is to do like risk identification. So we were talking about doing like a exercise where we have different types of risk, and then rating them on the CIA triad for confidentiality, integrity, and availability. We were playing with different ideas to do that inside of like a shared whiteboard. So that might be what we do next. So if I go back to our channel here, for those of you on YouTube, you can't see it right now, but on November 7th at 6 p.m. Central will be 2 streams. That'd be our next stream, or I'm sorry, 2 streams from now. On November 7th. We do not have a topic picked out for that one yet. However, I think that would be a really good one, is we could do a group exercise on a whiteboard for risk identification. And we'll get something put together in between now and then.
There's a certain way you're going to do that identification? There's a couple ways to do that. That's something.
So we spent probably about maybe 10 minutes or so discussing it. I think it's a great idea to do like a whiteboard where we can all hop into a collaborative whiteboard and then just like put ratings. Like we can go one at a time and have, I don't know, maybe 20 or 30 different types of risk. or situations and then rate them.
Okay.
But there's nothing like set yet. Definitely looking for input on how we could put something together for that. I think it would be a really great exercise.
Yeah, you talk about this a couple ways to do that. And Evan said that's kind of his specialty, so definitely get his input. I usually do it bottom up most of the time. When you scan, you have findings, right? Your findings on the database. That database goes to a business function. And the criticality of that business function, that's how I usually come up with the risk, right? There's a couple ways.
Yeah, and then there's also this question in Teams here, so stating, I am not a GRC expert at all. My question, GRC is not an entry-level job, right?
Yes. It can be. Did I elaborate?
I think, yeah, let me pull this open. So during Simply Cyber, Simply CyberCon year 1, let me pull this up. So Simply CyberCon year 1, so last year in November, Simply CyberCon had John Strand do the keynote, and he did an entire keynote about how information security is not an entry-level role. Now this, I think, still applies to GRC in that realm. I just dropped the link in chat for that keynote. And the key thing that he was discussing is the fact that it's not an entry-level role because you still need to learn. So an entry-level role is typically something where like you get right out of high school and you can jump into it without any previous knowledge. I think there are roles that exist like that in GRC. However, especially with how competitive the market is, you still need to upskill. You need to be able to identify risk. You need to, know some of the terminology. That's where the technical side comes in too. But I don't think it's impossible by any means. That's kind of my input on it. I think that's a really great keynote to look at, though. I think it just requires upskilling.
Yeah, I have a context there, Chris, if you can hear me.
Yep, I can hear you.
Yeah. So no, the context is, I'm not going to take a lot of time, but the context is, my background is I worked in IT AppSec and all the API, IPSec and all those things for the last 30 years. Right? I mean, I'm old. Okay. But what I'm saying is there is a local university. They asked me to come up with the curriculum, like a large curriculum, like a 12 months program. And I would be heavily involved in that too. The career pivoters and who want to come to cybersecurity, so that is in the pipeline. So while I'm at this meeting, my context was those people will start getting ready into various different fields of their liking within cybersecurity, and one of those could be GRC. And so in that context, my question was that those people, they, with the right experience imparted to them, could also get ready for GRC job.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Good. Yeah, it's good to connect with everyone. Thank you.
Yeah, it's kind of like also like Evan said, is that it's still readily attainable. So I think it just requires some of that upskilling portion from what I've seen. But yeah, I mean, the market is so competitive out there. Like some people have also marked out that a lot of companies, so like for an example, like a 5,000 person company may only have 2 GRC people on staff. And so I think GRC is hot and everything else, especially right now. However, I don't know the statistics, but I would say that there are less GRC positions out there than there are on the technical side. However, the technical side is also flooded. There are a lot of people out there trying to get into the technical blue team, red team, purple team kind of stuff too. So, but yeah, I mean, it's also something I don't know. I come across a lot of people who don't want to go into the GRC side because it's paperwork, it's policies, it's procedures. So that's another aspect too. I think there's less people who might be wanting to actually break into that, which might help a little bit. But yeah, another big thing too, I'm going to do a video on it, but so I do have like a resource in our Discord for getting started FAQs. I'm going to do a video on it that outlines like 9 different primary things. So you can see this right here inside of our resources section. And I would definitely take a look at this. So I'm actually going to go ahead and copy this over for everybody. So if you're in our Discord, you guys will be able to access that as well.
Do you think people think they can get in because it's paperwork? So a lot of people think it's technical.
Do I think that people think they can get in because it's non-technical?
Yeah, because it's all paperwork. A lot of people believe it's just paper.
I think that's a misconception. I think it's important to kind of be in the middle a little bit. With the people that I've talked to, at least, like, I think they might think that it's more technical than it really seems to be. Like, look at the different frameworks and so forth. Like, I think just understanding the basics, which is why, like, I would recommend a Sec Plus as a very good beginning spot, is because it gives you those fundamentals and best practices, so you understand like what DNS is when you're looking at the controls, what a firewall is, some of the different basic concepts like that. I don't think you need to, stack certs though. Yeah, Evan, you could just turn on your mic.
No, you're good. I just didn't want to talk over you. But no, I agree. I would say that with anything in terms of cyber, including GRC, you have to understand what it is you are trying to protect in order to more effectively protect it. Sure, you can go through and just read up on all the documentation of here's what 853 is, but unless you actually, at least on some level, understand the systems that you're applying it to and the reason that you're using the systems, things of that nature, then you're just going to be going through and ticking boxes.
I think another thing to think about with everyone trying to find entry-level roles in cybersecurity, GRC and cybersecurity, with no experience, that more people should be looking at maybe unconventional roles. So when I went and got my current role, it didn't really have anything to do with cybersecurity or GRC. It's with a giant medical global corporation, but every company has a cybersecurity area or they outsource it. And you might not know who they outsource to until you start working there. And lateral moves are so much easier to make than trying to come in from the outside. So maybe your first role isn't directly related to cyber, but you could get into a GRC role or a GRC adjacent role. Show your company who you are, get trainings, or work with those teams that do what you want to do, and laterally move into that.
Yep, 100%. I came from, personally, the other side of that. I came up the help desk to sysadmin pipeline. The opposite side that Space Tacos came up. They're both equally important, and they both give unique perspective on how things work. But if you are not the technical kind of person, you can get into an adjacent position and make a lateral change. And that way it gives you more of a time to build a rapport with the team that you want to work with, and to even see if your company allows you to do any kind of nesting or shadowing, sit with them, learn from them, things of that nature. Is that kind of experience is invaluable.
Yeah, because if you already understand what your company does and what these roles do on the outside of that position that you want, it's easier to transfer into that position because you already know the internal workings of that company. Puts you on top of the interview list.
Yeah, and just so everybody's also aware, so Rania is the new director for kindness and generosity, and then Evan here is the new CISO. So they're on the board for Study GRC, just in case if anybody wanted a little clarification on that aspect too. But 100% fully agree. So I think that's really good additions. And FedEx also dropped in chat about I think he's talking about the risk identification. So that we will be setting up for the November 7th meeting. This next one, which is going to be on Halloween, so on the 31st, we'll go through and go through the 830 for risk assessments. Didn't know. Oh, okay. So Space Tacos. So if you did miss the beginning of this video, definitely go through and rewatch probably about the first 15 minutes of this live stream. I went through all of the different changes and so forth. So I can transition to it right before we sign off of here. We'll probably end the stream here in about 10 to 15 minutes or so. But we did get 4 additional board members, which I could recap real quick at the end. Let's see. But yeah, I think that's definitely going to work for the upcoming ones. I'm trying to catch up on everything here. And then also next week, we'll just go ahead and just use Restream. So I'll redirect everybody to the YouTube channel, and then we'll be dropping the link for people who want to come up and speak as well. I definitely want everybody to realize that they more than welcome to come up and come on camera, come on mic, or either or. Let's see. Was there any other last comments or anything else? Did anybody else want to introduce or otherwise before we bring this to an end? We're coming up to our 2-hour mark here in about 9 minutes. I know Luke had to drop out there. Let's see. Well, and then also AB Showtime, you have a YouTube channel, right?
No, not yet. I was part of PBCC, and I'm still working.
Yep.
Still working on it. Yeah. So before we end, I wanted to say, Chris, you're doing a whole lot for Team SC. You've been there as a mod. You're always there for people who are asking questions. Not only on this Discord, the one you have, but also on Simply Cyber. So your servant leadership is appreciated a whole lot, Chris. There it is. I said it. I said it.
I want to back that up too.
I appreciate it.
Shout out to the young guy with a lot of energy. I
back it up as well.
Yeah, I just show up every now and then. Shout out to Chris.
Yeah, GRC Mafia. Well, and especially the Simply Cyber mod status. That is a really big honor. I haven't publicly posted anything on LinkedIn or anything like that yet. But I mean that's that means a lot. So the Simply Cyber community is absolutely amazing. I ended up joining the community just a few weeks before the Simply CyberCon last year, and then just trying to study along everybody else and so forth. And to even get that offer means a lot to me, and I'm really glad to just be able to give back to the community. Because I mean, if I didn't come across Simply Cyber, I would not be nearly as far along. If I didn't find a community like Simply Cyber, I probably would have burned out and gave up by now. So just because of the community aspect, it's way easier when you leverage community, you reach out to people. Worst case scenario, they say no. That's one of the best things about Simply Cyber in particular is you just go through and ask. So we also have this other command here too, if it's going to work. Let's see. Oh, okay. So if I do this one, then now I also have the Simply Cyber Team SC hot link there too. Yeah. So Rania, if you want to come up on mic or video, either or.
It's super dark here on that side. I'm Rania Rollin, and I am the Director of Kindness and Generosity for Study GRC. I love being able to support Chris in his awesome endeavors. my current role, I'm doing more platform configurations, system administration for a third-party risk management platform within my global medical company. Brand new, no prior experience. Came in from my previous career as an aircraft mechanic. I've been with the Simply Cyber group for probably a year and a half, maybe a little longer. But I managed to get in with just studying and my degree and programming skills. So it can happen.
And thank you so much for, helping out and so forth. It's like I was saying at the beginning of the presentation, is it's a huge value to have more people on board for the mission, and no one person can do that. So yeah, thank you. Director of Kindness and Generosity. Reminds me of somebody familiar.
Title.
Yeah. Reminds me of somebody familiar. I think it was, oh yeah, that's right, Deb Wigley.
And I love me some Deb the Deb.
Yeah, great people. Yeah, the Black Hills Information Security, I got to add them into the hot links as well. But yeah, great community as well with anti-siphon. Really good on the technical side. But they do have a couple GRC things. Like they have one Pay What You Can PCI one. I don't know when that's coming up next. They also have another one for like defending the enterprise. Let me see. So I'm actually going to go ahead and pull up their calendar here real quick, and then we'll end here in a few minutes. Yeah, if anybody else had anything else to add or anything, feel free to. I'll check the YouTube chat again here in a moment. I'm looking at the Pay What You Can for anti-siphon, and I'll drop this link as well. So they do largely focus on the technical side, but it's really good information, and you could literally take these Pay What You Can for free. Definitely a great resource. So they do have, so November 4th coming up, they do have Black Hills Information Security and MITRE ATT&CK with John Strand, and then they have Active Defense and Cyber Deception. The Active Defense and Cyber Deception on December 9th, that course I've taken twice. And it is amazing. That gives you a completely different mindset and way of thinking about things. That's a personal favorite. I think I've taken 4 different Pay What You Can courses so far. And then also the SOC Core Skills is another one. I have not taken the MITRE ATT&CK one yet. But the Active Defense and Cyber Deception and SOC Core Skills, I've taken both of those, and both of those are coming up.
Yeah, all 3 of those I highly recommend.
Yeah. And I dropped the link in chat here too, so you guys can check that out. Do you have a presentation? Are you presenting, AB?
Yeah, I'm presenting this. On track 2.
Okay. I don't know of anybody else, at least that's in here right now, that's presenting. Honestly, it's kind of hard to keep track of everybody. Chris, awesome.
I was just asking. Mm-hmm. I mean, if anyone I was just asking. Yep. Yes.
Yeah, no, you're fine. Yeah, and I mean, Simply CyberCon's next week. So I'm going to drop the link to this too. So this is the page for Simply CyberCon, which is next week. There is still time to register for the virtual, at least. I don't know if there's tickets still available for on-site, but it is in Charleston, South Carolina. It looks like there's still tickets available. If you are able to attend in person, that'd be awesome. There's even going to be badges, I hear. Let's see.
Yeah, I've heard some cool stuff about the badges. That'll be interesting. Unfortunately I'm not able to make it, but I am hearing wonderful things.
Super subtle mic drop.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's another great thing is I took charge of the badges for Simply CyberCon for this year. there's a lot of things that go into running a conference. And so originally they weren't too sure about running badges, just because of the time aspect of it and managing another portion of the project. And so I just kind of took charge of like the project management and making sure everything gets fulfilled for the badge portion. And then, so AB is doing Security Plus 701, how I passed in 1 week and retained knowledge. So he's doing a 9-minute talk regarding the 701 for the Sec Plus. Will you be trialing out that presentation at next week's public speaking in Simply Cyber Discord?
Yeah, it was so great to do it with Chris, Chris Young and Chris Hidalgo last month. It was really awesome. So I did it once. It was a great experience. And also it's funny that this topic, this SY0701, how I pass in 1 week. I attended, Dr. Jerry's meeting just like this, and in the chat I just put in, that's when they were seeking topic, this finalizing what kind of topics will come in, who is going to speak, and I said, well, I just put in the chat like I just passed this Security Plus, and I just wanted to get done with it. I mean, it was like a holy anger within me, like I want to get done with it, and I did. I said, how about a topic like this? And I'm just kidding. And Dr. Jerry was like, no, you just submit something and we'll look at it. I said,
yeah,
like it was not like I was not even thinking about it. But anyway, so it was good. Yeah, that's how the topic came, and they liked it. And then number 2, I also got to practice on Discord live with Chris Young and Chris Hidalgo, and got the feedback, and it was very useful. And there were other 5 or 6 people. I don't know if you were there, Chris. You were not on that public speaking, right? I don't know about that, but there were other people, so it was good. I highly recommend.
I don't think I caught the last one.
To do some practice public speaking, and get some good feedback. That's really good.
Yeah, I don't think I was on the last one, but so in the Simply Cyber, if you're not aware, so in the Simply Cyber Discord, once a month, I believe it's the last Tuesday of every month. They do it once a month, and they just meet up as a group and they practice public speaking. So they try to line up presenters, and then you get feedback on your skills, like what are your filler words, what things you could change in your presentation, and you just get feedback from the group, and they do it once a month. And so the next one, I just pulled it up on the Simply Cyber calendar here, is going to be Tuesday, October 29th at 7 p.m. Central. And that's going to be in the Simply Cyber Discord. Oh, I'm sorry, that's 7 p.m. Eastern time in the Simply Cyber Discord.
Yeah, I posted the link on Discord.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I'm going to copy that over to YouTube. Yep, and then, thank you to everybody attending. I'm going to go ahead and go back to my slide deck here, and I'll just recap some of the stuff I stated at the very beginning and then end the stream. But then we'll be back at it again next Tuesday at 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern. Next week, we will go over the 830. We'll go through each one of the steps, and that will be the primary focus for that. And November 7th, then we have a speaker, and then the CISO assistant at 11 a.m. on the 7th. And then on the November 7th that night, we'll go over like risk identification. We'll get some type of exercise set up so that way we can have an interactive exercise for that. But for those of you in Teams, I'm going to go ahead and nobody will be able to hear you, but I'm going to go back through the slide deck here. All right, so if you did miss the beginning of this, I'm not going to go through the whole presentation again, but at the very beginning of this video, I just went through some of the key highlights for major updates to Study GRC. So our entire mission on fostering community, how difficult I've noticed it is to break into the industry and get that information. There's so much out there, but you don't know what's good, what's not, what's worth the time, what's not. Like I still have at least 50 things on my backlog of things I want to do. We focus on network, learning, and contribute. within the community. And then our main pain points as a nonprofit organization is time and money. So we have a lot of big ideas. There's a lot of things we want to do for the community to make it easier, to share the information and so forth. But it all comes down to time and money for everything. And that's the main pain points that we've discovered and across everything, really. And so we are lucky enough to get some more directors on board. So on the board for Study GRC previously was just me, but now we officially have Brittany for the CFO. We have Rania for the Director of Kindness and Generosity, Evan for the CISO, and Rachel for CTO. We could drop their LinkedIn information in Discord if you would like. But a big thing with this is just getting additional help on board, delegating tasks. There's a lot of different things. One person can't manage it all, and this is really going to assist us in scaling up a little bit and providing more to the community moving forward. Some of the different things to look out for. So after the first of the year, we'll have a stream shortly after January 1st to initiate the first quarter. So each quarter, we're going to do exactly like what Simply Cyber does and do a quarterly state of Study GRC. We're going to start pushing some of these existing projects. We have about 9 different projects in our backlog. We're going to start with the least difficult and work our way up while still making sure that we keep track of other ideas and suggestions that we receive. Another big thing is more transparency. We're looking at options like Open Collective and different things like that because we are pushing 100% for free available resources and community. And we want it to be as transparent as possible and provide that ability for other people to hop onto different community projects where possible. We are going to pursue the 501c3 status. There were some issues to requirements to get that previously, but we are going to push for that now, which will open up more doors and more ability for us to do more. And overall, more teamwork. So like I said, delegating tasks, having these extra people on the board is going to be a huge help. There's no way that we could accomplish this without additional assistance and teamwork. And then the last slide here for this slide deck was just thank you, because it's not just me or just a handful of people. Everybody in chat, everybody hopping in on Teams, it's a community initiative. That's really what it comes down to. We are a community. It's not just one single person. And that's also another thing, like somebody was saying earlier on presenting, like that's going to be a big thing too, is getting people more comfortable with getting out there, sharing their knowledge, even if you're new to the industry and so forth. But yeah, it's all community based. And then with that portion said, I'm going to go ahead and end the stream here. And thank you all for your time. Remember, next week's going to be 830. I dropped the link for PBO's video on that. And then also NIST has the document. If you need that, you can also reach out to us on Discord. I'm going to go ahead and drop the link for that again. And I think there was something else I was missing there. Next week's going to be that portion. And then I think that was all.